Told the plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. Told the plug I need 100 pigs.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We're streaming live video on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to Facebook.com/New Haven Independent or go to your Facebook page. Look us up. Hit see first if you want to catch all the other cool shows on the New Haven Independent, including our friend here, Harry the Brave.
Harry the Brave. I love that show.
Yeah.
I like Mayor Mondays, and I like talking
Joe
about
Ugly in
Joe
the morning.
Ugly in the morning.
So, you know,
oh, man.
we are there.
Is my speaker live? Am I on
there?
there?
I am.
Harry, am I on there?
Let's turn you up here. How's that?
No.
Turn you on.
We're in there.
All right.
We're also live on my Instagram.
Very nice.
We've got some really cool things going on, Joe.
Yeah.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was great. I had a good weekend.
Weekend
I visited
week,
the farm.
You did? Yep, you did.
I visited the farm on Friday.
It's one of our favorite topics these days.
What else have we got to talk about? It's farming season.
It is.
And we did get legalized hemp in Connecticut, so let's celebrate what we do have and not bitch about what we don't have.
Yes, we're not going to.
You know what I mean? Everybody knows by now we did not get legalized.
No, we didn't get legalization,
but we did get hemp.
We did get hemp.
And we got a hemp pilot program. And yes, I was at the farm on Friday morning picking fan leaves. I picked a whole greenhouse worth of fan leaves, and I took them home. Uncle Lou graciously allowed me to take them, and I actually juiced them in a juicer. I took the whole, I was almost a pound.
Tell us about it.
I juiced them in a juicer. And so what I decided to do, per Lou's, advice, was mix it. I bought some carrots and some celery right from the farm stand.
Right from the farm. It was amazing.
That was right there. Took home the hemp leaves. My roommate helped me juice them. And we took the raw hemp juice, the celery juice, and the carrot juice. Drank a shot raw. And then took celery and carrot juice and combined them. And then added a little hemp juice to that. Excellent. Excellent. And I'm going to tell you, you drink freshly juiced vegetable juice or fruit juice, especially when you get it right off a farm.
Look at that.
Like right off the branch.
Literally.
Whether it be, spinach, hemp, kale. If
all
you
of
can
it.
pull
It was delicious.
it was excellent. And I literally got a huge rush of energy. Natural, not caffeine like 5-hour energy or Red Bull. Natural energy.
That juiced hemp leaf, man, gives you every one of those cannabinoids.
Yeah.
And then the best thing is, we talked about that as well. That pulp afterwards.
I saved that for you. I should have brought it today. I forgot
appreciate you.
I did save you the pulp. I do
we'll
have it.
compost that, We'll compost it. It'll turn into some feed. It'll go into
back into the soil.
Back into the nature everywhere.
Yeah. Exactly right.
Awesome. I'm
I did
pretty
save
excited.
it for you. And I will continue to save it. It's a habit I want to get into, so you can expect me at the farm every week picking fan leaves and helping you out. I enjoy it. I feel when I go in and do that work, even if it's only for 2 hours, it's usually like 2 hours at a time. I'm old, the heat gets to me. But
Joe, I think it was awesome to have you in there.
To put your hands in the dirt.
And we left you alone, Joe.
Yes,
that was
you
another
did.
thing. We left you doing your thing. You
just
picked the leaves that you wanted. We worked on a couple other greenhouses.
Yeah, because you got like 3 going on, 3 different plots going on.
Yeah,
over
just
there.
in that one spot. Yeah, so
and then you got other ones.
Yeah,
I got to go visit them next.
No, those are pretty cool. They're huge
little.
fields.
Oh, they're little right now?
No, they're just huge fields, and they're small plants, but they're huge fields, and there's other things growing in the fields because it is.
So you got to keep it
industrial.
chill.
It is an industrial crop, so.
So he's pretty much using his crew.
Yep, his crew.
You just come in and go, okay, guys.
Yep, we make sure things is good and everybody's happy and they're all permitted.
I like that. That's the deal to make.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool to watch all that. The growth in agriculture is pretty awesome.
It's
And,
really nice to see for Connecticut at least getting some new farms. I see a lot of the other ones are doing very well.
I'm loving it.
Mike Goodenough just said he shipped out a
Great.
huge shipment.
Yeah. Oh my God. And
So, I know Cody finally gets working in the
doing well. Yeah,
fields.
it's
Finally, no
amazing.
more landscaping.
No, it's awesome. I'm
So,
so happy for everybody
you-
doing their thing. Yeah.
I mean, I think you found your thing. Lou. You enjoy. I
really
can tell
enjoy
you
it.
smile when
I
you're at
really
that farm.
enjoy it. I am very happy. I'm working with some really great people. The
Yeah.
farmers are awesome, and they're awesome. The people around it are awesome. Like we talked about at that
Your
farm
crew.
stand, the crew is awesome. The crew is absolutely amazing. If they plug in here, they'll see I talk about them.
Yep.
I put up a lot of pictures on the Instagram, and I try to celebrate the people that come out and work
Yeah,
with
nice.
us, and it's a good time.
Really is. It's community.
It is. It's awesome,
Mm.
and because they have a farm stand there, that butchery place,
Right.
is
They literally
amazing.
have fresh meat there that literally
I
was
looked that cow in her face.
grown in that farm, taken to a slaughterhouse, brought back to be cut.
Yeah, it was
I saw
pretty
that
cool.
butcher shop back there.
Yeah,
Pretty wild.
and
And
the
I saw the poor
vegetables-
pigs, and then they were gone. No.
Yeah, the vegetables were amazing. Everything was delicious, and now it's gonna be infused with some hemp.
Very nice. I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
doing something up there towards harvest
We're
time.
gonna have a lot of good things, and that's gonna go in right with that hemp education,
Yeah.
cannabis
Towards,
education.
look for that in September because
know.
we want to do it around harvest.
Yep, and that's a big thing with our medical marketplace
Yeah.
because hey, if you're a medical
You need
marijuana
CBD.
user, you need some CBD in your life.
From what I understand, Curaleaf has already said we
They're
want to
in it.
buy hemp because they don't have
They're in
they don't, they're growing.
Oh, they're
They're growing cannabis,
Oh boy.
and they don't have hemp fields over.
All right. So we're very excited about what we got going on. So
Yeah.
what else? What else do we got in our email? We didn't even get to our start of our day. We just jumped right into the farm. I apologize.
Well, that's what we're supposed to talk
I
about,
love
local news. Since there's nothing going on locally with legalization, it's summer.
We'll talk
Everybody's on
hemp.
vacation. We'll keep talking about hemp, and that's it. But so today we have a special guest on. His name's Tim Johnson, and he's from Cannabis Safety First. They're an Ohio-based company. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And so he's going to talk to us because we're speaking of hemp, right?
Yes.
And he deals in security and safety for the cannabis and the hemp industry, but he is also very much a hemp activist.
Hemp and cannabis. Yes. He also works with the Ohio Cannabis Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. We met him out at the Ohio Hemp Summit.
Right.
When Ashley and I traveled out there. We got to meet him. We got to meet another lady who owns Meg's Fertilizer. Her name is Julie. And as we were talking about last week, man, that one state was the
That's where I was
holdout.
just going to bring that in. I want to
You
talk
know?
to him about that. Out of all the states, Ohio was the one state that had not implemented a hemp pilot program yet.
So they signed a bill at the end of last week,
Oh.
and it's going to be for next year.
Okay, so we'll talk to him about
Yeah.
that. Why did
He'll
they
be
wait?
able to give a bunch of information about that.
Yeah.
He'll be able to talk about the state of the medical marijuana program in Ohio. He'll
Right.
be able to talk about the state of the entrepreneurial track in Ohio. He'll be able to talk to what's going on nationally as well as locally. We focus a lot on this New England region, and right next to us is the farmers belt, the agricultural belt. So
Right.
you hit Pennsylvania, and then poof.
Yes, exactly right.
Pennsylvania is
And you go
all
west a little
agriculture.
bit, you got all agriculture, right?
Yeah, it's
It's not that
Pennsylvania,
far
Ohio,
from us.
Indiana.
You can get to Ohio in
5 hours, 6
5,
hours.
yeah.
Yeah. So it was right there. It wasn't a
Yeah.
horrible thing.
A lot of
You
land
take
out there.
the lots of land, and they have an idea about drugs that they hate. It is one of those
Oh yeah,
places
yeah,
that
yeah.
they
Let's talk about that.
they are rough.
We got Kiba. We could have her call in now, or do you want to have her call in after our guest?
Well, we can have her call in after our guest as she gets ready.
Okay, I'll text her and let her know when to call in. But anyway, so yeah, speaking of people who aren't very educated in cannabis who are running states, the Kentucky governor. Now here's a hypocrite. The Kentucky governor was all behind the hemp program,
Mm-hmm.
and he prided himself
It was a big thing.
on educating his legislators on hemp, and he prided on himself. And Kentucky is one of the largest hemp producers in the country.
Yes.
So on one hand, the Kentucky governor is all behind hemp. But on the other hand, he says, I'll never legalize marijuana because of all the overdoses. So this is Governor Matt Bevin, and he says legalize marijuana is a sucker's bet. He says it's something that will never happen while he's in office because he's concerned about overdoses. He said, I'm not legalizing marijuana for recreational or revenue generating purposes. There are people overdosing based on ingestion of products that are edibles and things. So now this guy who seems to be so educated in hemp is really uneducated in his own state, because when you want to talk about opioid overdoses, Kentucky is number 1 in the country.
That's one of those.
So this guy is whining about marijuana overdoses and saying that I won't legalize weed because too many people are overdosing. And I want to clarify one thing. It is possible to overdose weed. You just cannot die.
Right.
You cannot have a fatal overdose from marijuana.
No, you can oversaturate.
Yeah, I guess that's a better word. You can over-medicate, but you will never die.
No.
And
it's because
and that's because people are stupid. They just take too much.
And the scientific way of saying it is the reason why you won't die from an oversaturation of the cannabinoid receptors is because the cannabinoid receptors do not control vital organs.
Right.
They will not shut down your breathing. They will not shut down your brain function. It will not shut down your cardiovascular.
Right.
Because they're not connected to it. The endocannabinoid system is a separate system. Yep. Is a separate system. And that's more for your anti-inflammatories and your body homeostasis. Exactly. And Keeper's talked about it 1,000 times on the show.
Right.
I just made sure to listen.
Yeah, exactly. You and me both, right? We've been in those classes long enough to absorb it.
I'm not the medical professional. Keeper is, and she's told us this 1,000 times.
Yes. So it doesn't, right. And she's very, she's a nurse, so she knows this thing. So I just want to give you some quick stats.
Let's do it, Joe.
In 2016, Kentucky had 33 drug overdoses per 100,000 residents. Second highest rate in the country. I'm sorry, it wasn't the highest.
Second.
Fentanyl, 20,100 deaths. Heroin, 15,400 deaths. Prescription opioids, 14,400 deaths. Marijuana, 0. Fentanyl deaths are up 540% in 3 years in Kentucky.
Oh, man.
Okay, so let me tell you something, Kentucky governor. You ought to start worrying about your constituents eating opioids like candy and not worrying about people overdosing on marijuana and maybe having to go to sleep for it. And maybe if their parents catch them, they send them to the emergency room and are told that there's nothing wrong.
Right.
Because I'm finding that as a more of a trend these days. These parents now are a little bit more helicopter than ours were. I got caught too high. If I got caught too high, it's like, go to your room.
Yeah.
Go to bed. Put some cold water on your freaking face.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Right. It wasn't, I'm going to take it to the emergency room now. Oh, my God. And then schools are doing it, sending them to the nurse. I got caught high in class. The teacher kicked me out. Get out. Get the hell out. Didn't send me to no nurse. Get out.
I know in college I walked to class. I might have went to class high once or twice, and I definitely got caught out once.
Yeah.
The teacher was like, "Mr. Vega, are you high?" I died laughing.
Yeah, my teacher threw me a cat.
I died laughing. And he goes, "Get out of my class." And I was like, "Oh man, I guess I'm gonna spray cologne next time."
From now on, I gotta put that Visine in.
It wasn't about not doing it anymore. It was definitely about wearing some cologne.
Yeah, exactly right. Now they say I just stay high all the time, so nobody ever knows.
I might just start doing edibles. I think that's probably why I started doing some more edibles. I got tired of it.
Stay high all the time. Nobody ever knows if you're high or not, because they think that whatever you are is normal. That's the only way they know you as high. So anyway, that's Kentucky.
That's a strong opinion.
Yeah, I mean, overdoses of marijuana. Okay, so soon he's going to get unelected, and they'll because they do have a medical program there. So he'll get unelected, and somebody will realize that marijuana is a lot safer than opioids, and maybe people would switch over. But anyway, so that's Kentucky. Now, another thing I found interesting, I think you posted this, I saw it on Facebook, that hemp ethanol
Yes.
is much cheaper to produce, 3 times cheaper than gasoline. So they said hemp ethanol can be produced for $1.37 per gallon, with technological improvements in tax credits reducing the price another $1. So it would be about 40 cents a gallon.
And you're not harming any fossil fuels.
No,
You're not
drilling in the ground.
No fracking. None of that stuff.
Oh, fracting's the worst. Right. So, I mean, this is time, and I think when you start seeing these articles, people are starting to get smart. So, I think that's a good thing. But let's see what else we got here. Oh, so I'm saying on the hemp thing, finally, the Senate Agricultural Committee is going to address industrial hemp production because of pressure, and that is going to happen this Thursday. So members of the National Hemp Association and the USSDA and the U.S. State Department of Agriculture will be all people who are going to testify at this hearing to say what they believe their version of hemp regulations will be. And then this committee, it's just like what we have to do up in Hartford, except they're not allowing, it's not a public hearing. It is people who they invite and who they ask.
Correct.
Yes. So they are going to give their recommendations of what they think hemp, the regulations should look on a federal level. And that's happening next week. And they're hoping to have them done by, as we said, late August at the worst. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think, right now, that's the reason the states are all on a pilot program, because none of them know how the feds are going to regulate it. And we know that once we have to stay sort of in line with federal regulations once they establish them, but we can also have, Connecticut has its own tweaks, and that's why they haven't put together their program yet. They're waiting to see how the feds do.
Right. Connecticut's program, they erred on the side of more cautious.
Right.
So they should fall right in line in whatever.
Oh, yeah, they'll probably go right directly with what the feds do.
The feds, I don't think, are looking to be any more strenuous than what Connecticut has put in place.
Yeah, no.
So some states are a little bit more willy-nilly with the...
with the regulations.
Yeah.
No, Connecticut's pretty strict, right? They got to come in and test.
You got to get a testing, background check, the whole 9.
Yeah, and then at the end you have to submit a research report, right? So, you're a researcher right now, technically.
Technically. Well, my research plan is to find out how Connecticut hemp would grow and then be able to be used in construction applications.
So not for CBD.
Thing,
I know your big thing is hempcrete.
I'm big. I like hempcrete a lot. I like the idea that the herds can be used, and you can get that from any plant, from even the byproducts from people who are doing nice high-end CBD strains.
Right. You can take their
I'll take their herds.
Yeah.
I'll take the herds. You know what I mean? That's the inside part of the stalk.
Right.
And you just kind of crack the stalk open and it falls right out.
Right. Oh, yeah, I know. Okay. So you're using that for hempcrete.
That's what hempcrete. Yep.
And then they also see they have hemp wood now.
Yep. Particle boards.
They're making wood out of hemp. So there's tons of uses for it.
Big construction applications. Huge construction applications. Green. It starts to absorb carbon footprints. It's carbon negative.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's awesome, right? And I was seeing that a hemp bottle made of hemp plastic will biodegrade within a short period of time.
Right.
So, I mean, I think it's time we got to get smart. And there will be a lot of hemp. A lot of people are growing hemp right now. So I think the time is right for some innovative companies to come along and start using it in other ways in CBD. I think I was reading that it was Massachusetts that of all the hemp producers that they licensed, only one is making it for industrial purposes. 1 out of 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
Big marketplace that's underutilized.
Okay. All right. Our guest is on the air.
Let's pay some bills first, Joe.
Oh, yeah. Right before we talk to our guest, thank you, Lou. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to facebook.com/New Haven Independent or go to your Facebook page and look us up. And I also want people remind people to like the Cannabis Corner new Facebook page, Cannabis Corner New Haven.
Yes, on
So
Facebook.
please, on Facebook. So please like our new page, and you'll be streaming there as well. So, all right, on the phone is Tim Johnson from Cannabis Safety First. It's an Ohio-based company, but I'm going to let Lou talk a little bit about Tim and how we met. Tim, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you.
Hey, how's it going, Tim?
Fantastic.
All right.
Awesome. So, little background. I met Tim at the Ohio Hemp Summit, and I had been following him for a little while on Facebook, on social media, and everything like that. And I really enjoy seeing the amount of work that they've put in their local area, as well as promoting education and the safety facts. And Tim has a very interesting background as well. And Tim, tell us a little bit about yourself with Cannabis Safety First, as well as the Ohio Cannabis Control Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber. Sure will.
Which is a pretty
Great to hear
awesome.
from you, too, and thanks for the invite.
Thank you. Yes.
Cannabis Safety First is my background's in law enforcement. I'm also an Air Force veteran. Done law enforcement there as well. So my venture into the industry was to provide security and safety training, educational awareness type classes for the industry as a whole. So off of that, what I've done is actually ventured into helping create the Ohio Cannabis Medical Cannabis Program, as well as recently we passed the Ohio Senate Bill 57, a hemp program for Ohio.
Oh, we were just talking about
Cannabis
that.
Safety First, basically, that is the safety security side of what I do, and I also am a director of security for one of our cultivators here in Ohio. The Cannabis Chamber. A friend of mine, Jeff, and I got together and decided a few years back this was a way to connect the cannabis community when we ventured out to other what's known as a normal community business chamber of commerce. They just didn't seem to want to play with us, so we decided to get our own venture out. So what we've done is compiled it's growing daily, large group of ancillary companies that support the 4 disciplines within the industry program here in Ohio. And from that, starting in Ohio, we've now went Midwest, and actually, I believe the Humboldt County Chamber of Commerce in California, the first known, actually got a hold of us, and we've worked out a very good, transparent, collaborative relationship with them. They've been great to us in helping us set our code of standards and our protocols and paperwork and so forth for our organization. So that's what we've been doing is taking ancillary companies, bring them into the industry, connecting them with the disciplines, and then we do a lot of, like Louis said, the Hemp Summit, which, matter of fact, we'll be doing again. Louis, we'll be looking for you. And
we're coming.
To us this time at it.
We're coming.
September 28th here. So that's where I met him. So we do a lot of expos, seminars in the central or in the Ohio area, as well as attend, some in Michigan, Pennsylvania, some of the other states that are having them as well. So that's kind of what we do.
Great. And I'm glad to hear that Ohio finally came through and got a hemp bill passed.
Yes.
Because they were the one holdout state, right?
I'm sorry, say again, John?
They were the one holdout state, correct?
we're the holdout and everything, I believe. Yeah.
No, we're right behind you.
Unfortunately, if it held true that as Ohio goes, the nation goes, we would be nowhere.
Right.
So, we did. They did pass the bill. Governor's expected, I think it's there tomorrow to possibly, sign the bill and get it into the state budget. It does go into effect immediately, which will allow those getting into the industry to start their bank accounts, start their business development, land purchase, or whatever it may be, as well as it protects the current small businesses that are out there selling the CBD hemp products. They can continue as they are now without repercussion or fear of any kind of enforcement action on them. So it's not the best. It's a start. It does give us a program, kind of like our medical cannabis program. It is more regulated, in my personal opinion.
Right.
I don't understand some of, it's considered a commodity now.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, it's a pill. So it is. It's kind of great. But, it's a lot of times it's that dare mentality mindset that we still have here in the Midwest.
Well, we still have it here too. Believe me, it's it's all over the place. But I like that Chamber of Commerce idea. I think that's something you could probably do in a lot of other states. It's very necessary for the cannabis industry to actually have one organization, because there's a bunch of them out there, and some are good, some are not, some want a ton of money to join.
Right. And Joe, even on that, because when I went
on a
out
local
there,
level,
on a local level, when we went out there, it was Ashley and I representing Present Naturals, getting ready to get into our own little hemp game, and as we were doing things, this was last year. Since then, obviously, we have a hemp farm now. We're farming on a couple different things, but even going out to Ohio and seeing how things are so different, but at the same time, so much the same.
Right.
And seeing organizations pop up and doing well, like what Tim has going on out there, the Ohio Cannabis Chamber of Commerce. I thought back and I said, Joe Keeper and I are technically the Chamber of Commerce, because we've maintained the mailing list of all the cannabis businesses locally. We host the networking events, and that's something that can be replicated throughout the nation. And even with somebody like Tim's help to come out and look at this. We got business dealings going on right here on the middle of this.
I think
we'll talk a little more about that one, Tim.
Yeah, important thing about a Chamber of Commerce, like he said, is you need those rules, regulations, and how it's going to be set up. Whereas we're kind of doing things more loosely, I think, But I think I love it.
And it gives a place for a lot of the ancillary services. Through that Ohio Chamber, when we were out there, we got to meet a couple people. There was a chef that we got to meet. Somebody who does hemp on a large scale, somebody who does like a clamp that squishes rosin or something like that.
It's like taking all the people who go to the conventions and giving them a place to go on a regular basis.
So have you seen that Tim, have you seen that these organizations have really helped push legislature?
Our organization is fully in depth with the legislation here.
That's awesome.
Aside from myself working, having helped implement the medical program that we have here, with the chamber, we got involved through the Ohio Hemp Farmers Cooperative and submitted one of the white papers that helped pass the Senate Bill 57 here in Ohio. We've also recently been a part of a statewide decrim bill, Sensible Movement Coalition, decrim movement coalition, I believe it is, as well as with the Hemp Farmer Cooperative. Again, we introduced also an adult use program in Ohio. So we have a transparent relationship with
awesome.
All three governing boards, the Department of Commerce, the Medical Board, and the Pharmacy Board with our program. I think we're the only organization in Ohio that has that type of relationship.
That's pretty good.
Working hand in hand with them, very transparent. They see whatever we put out. We get their emails. And, we work with the legislators as well. I do lobbying at the State House a couple days a week in reference to all things cannabis and hemp. So yeah, for us, we're not a competitive organization. We offer a service, not a product. And that service is to connect the cannabis community and educate those not in the community as well those in the community. So it's working out well.
That's great. That's really great to hear. No, I think. Yeah. Now, how's legalization looking there in Ohio? As you know, in Connecticut, we just went through a complete legislative session, and then they decided not to vote on it after putting together a bill. How is it looking in Ohio? I know, and a lot of people don't know about that. You already put forth an adult bill that was defeated by the public because it put things in the hands of big corporations. Is that correct?
That's fairly correct. I think in 2015, it was an organization responsible Ohio. We did get it on the ballot. It did get defeated. My belief, the reason it was defeated was an implosion of politics from within the cannabis industry, of jealousies of, well, we got it on the ballot and you didn't get it. So it was kind of like pro-cannabis voted against pro-cannabis. Thus, it was defeated. And as a result of that, we created our House Bill 523 we currently have, which is the medical cannabis program in Ohio. Currently, what we see in Ohio, believe is up in the 70s, close to 80% that want an adult program or medical program. But the state as a whole is for it. It's just the point of getting the legislators as a whole to come together in a bipartisan effort to set their morals and values aside and to do for the state what their constituents by the majority want done. And that is a full legalization, a full adult program here for the state of Ohio so that adults have the choice. It's no different than the same that we have with, alcohol, tobacco, and other items.
Right.
And that's all we're asking for.
Right. So what are you hoping for, 2020?
Well, we've got language down there right now. And actually, our Legislative Service Commission is the ones that, once we introduce language to them, they take it and they do the legality drafting of it, so to say. It goes back to the legislators, and we have one that's working with us very closely, and if they can get a co-sponsor to it or a sponsor to it, then it can get introduced and actually receive a bill number. And at that point, both the House of Representatives and the Senate have to entertain it in the various committees and possibly in a vote to the floor. So we don't look for anything to happen this year. 2020 is very possible, especially with the way federal's looking at it.
Right. Yeah. If it could happen federally by 2020, then that'll make it a lot easier for a lot of states who,
Right.
who basically had no chance before, some of the Southern Belt states and stuff. But that's great. Well, Tim, keep up the good work out there. I think Lou and I would love to talk to you about that chamber idea.
Mm-hmm.
And congratulations on your hemp program.
It's a lot. It's a lot going on out there, and being able to bridge a lot of these gaps throughout the nation goes so far.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that I was so happy about connecting with Tim and the group out in Ohio. Is it offers a completely different perspective.
Yeah.
When we went out there, it was a very diverse group that Tim had around him. Men, women, all races and colors, all creeds. That impressed me a lot. And to see that camaraderie, to see the respect for the plant, to see that they were putting out, and this wasn't one of those high hoity-toity bougie type of events. This was down to earth, and it was for the people doing the work at hand. And we laugh about it, but Ashley was probably the most overdressed, obviously, as Ashley can normally be. He loves his suits and his slippity slide shoes and everything. But it was a very homey feeling after driving 6 and 7 hours to get through there. It was a rough time. It was a big snowstorm on this coast and not really over there. It was gorgeous, and got to drive through Pennsylvania. And Tim and his team were super welcoming for everybody who had traveled the long distance to check it out. And I'm actually using the Meg's fertilizer line on my hemp farm currently. So
Sweet.
yeah, so we do a little Ohio grow.
He's already started the network.
We're
Very, very cool.
little Ohio here in Connecticut.
Now, as far as Cannabis Safety First, do you do trainings in other areas besides Ohio, or is it pretty much locally based?
Most of my training right now is within the Ohio industry, our community here. But yeah, I've ventured out. I've got a couple of states waiting on contracts to come back now. So for me, it's you pay, I'll play.
All right.
It's not expensive.
Yeah.
The thought of the training that I bring in is about safety awareness and just common sense to de-escalate a situation rather than escalate it. Use good camera systems. Work well with the local law enforcement, and let's remove that stigma of violence in the industry, which we know doesn't exist, but it's
Right.
still the stigma of it that's there. So I'm willing to wherever if they need me, I'll go and help. And that's to me, that's what it's all about. Kind of like what Louis said when he came here is to be open-hearted and open armed to anyone that comes in. And like this is your show. We're sharing this information to hundreds of thousands of people here. If not millions of people across the U.S., and that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
One step at a time. We keep sharing it regardless, and it goes through. So yeah, I'm willing to go wherever.
All right. Now, how do people get a hold of you? What's the best way? Through your website, email? Let's give you a little plug.
Yeah, you can get a hold of me. The website's CannabisSafetyFirst.com. The email is CannabisSafetyFirst@gmail.com.
Perfect.
Very nice.
So very simple.
Very
Perfect.
nice.
And people can contact you about any, either the chamber or the Cannabis Safety First, and hopefully we can get something going here in Connecticut.
And if not, we'll get you out here for some of our events as well.
That sounds good. We look forward to hopefully getting out that way soon. So things are going well. We appreciate the coverage.
Thank you
no
so
problem,
much,
man.
sir.
Anytime.
Thank you. You
All
have
right.
yourself a great day, Tim.
Thanks
All
for
right,
coming
y'all
on.
Take care. Be safe out there.
Bye
All
bye.
right.
Joe, we got to pay them bills, brother.
Yes, sir. And I'm
All
going
right,
to
we're
text
getting there
Kibra and
20
have her
minutes
call
in.
in. You are listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live radio on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to facebook.com/New Haven Independent or go to your Facebook page and look us up. And you can also find us on Cannabis Corner New Haven. So I'm going to check and see if Kibra can call in.
That's always a nice text out there. But
Yep.
other than that, as you're texting, let's tell people what we've got coming up.
Yeah. All right. Hold
Well,
on.
no, we can talk about everything.
Yeah,
I
because
have fun talking about
Kibra,
it.
we have a big announcement actually, Canna Health.
Oh, Canna Health is doing its thing. I've seen a bunch of
yeah.
awesome things on.
Yeah, so I want to get Kibra on and have her make the announcement, but there's a lot of good things going on with Canna Health
Yeah,
and
lots
the whole
of
Canna Health
expansion there.
family. And if she can't call, then I'll make the announcement because
Yeah.
I'm 203-684-8907. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I know. I just had to remember the first three numbers. I just had to text them to her.
You're about to have.
I didn't do it.
The phones are about to light up.
Well, we have had people call in before, haven't we? No. I texted her so she knows the number to call. We'll see if she can call. But either way, I guess I can talk about it. But
Let's talk a little bit about it.
all
Come
right.
on,
So
man.
this weekend, over the last week, actually, Canna Health has opened up 2 new offices.
Yes.
One in Danbury.
Well, they signed they're coming soon.
Yes. They've licensed
They've
2
licensed.
new offices.
So that way we don't throw
Yeah,
off
they're
the
not
grand
open
opening.
yet. They're not open yet. We'll
That
have to
we'll
announce.
have a nice, good, big grand opening for
We
that.
should have a grand opening, a party with all 5 branches there.
I
'cause
bet they will.
we now are one of the largest. We are the largest company in Connecticut
Mm-hmm.
for medical marijuana references. I want people to know that. There are other people with 1 or 2, maybe even 3 offices here in the state, but we now have 5.
Mm-hmm.
We cover New Haven, Hartford, Milford, Danbury, and now Middletown.
That's right.
So almost the whole state is closed. All we need is New London, and I'm sure that's in the works at some point.
Yeah.
So so that's good news. I happen to know the person who's opening the Middletown office. She's one of the former students
Yep.
from the classes that we did.
Mhm.
She's actually from the first class, and this is a dream that she's been trying to do since she took the classes.
Yep.
And now actually it's come to fruition. So it's a very, very nice thing to see. And again, it shows that, the education works and that, if people learn about this industry and then put their minds to it, have a clear vision of what they want,
Mhm.
then you can achieve it. And I've seen it happen so many times in this industry. So many times people who came with no knowledge whatsoever and ended up learning, getting experience out there, and now are players in the industry here 5 years later since I
I want
started
to be a
working at
player
this
one
school.
day.
Come on, Uncle Lou, you are one of the biggest players in
I'm
the
not
industry.
joking,
So I
One
don't
day I'll be a
know.
player.
I don't know what Kibra is, but let's.
She's doing the Cali thing. What are you talking about?
Yeah, she's in San Jose.
Cali.
It's probably there's not really a lot of beaches in San Jose.
No. She's working.
Yeah,
So-
it's like I don't know if it's work or convention or whatever. But
No, but she's going up there for business. Whoa!
oh,
you
look
bet
at
your
that,
heart.
man. See that
Look
Twizzlers
at
for
that
all.
guy.
Okay, so here's what's
I
going
got something
on.
for you too, but we can't.
Yeah, we can't give it to you on air. So what's going on around the? Oh, Kibra's on the line.
Yes!
Yay! Good, Kibra.
Hi.
Hey!
Kibra, how are you? We're
Hey, y'all.
talking about you and the big announcement from Canna Health. So let's tell the people what is going on with Canna Health. Big expansion.
Okay.
And then we'll talk
Well,
about
I
what you're
mean,
doing
from-
out there.
What did you say?
Then we'll
What?
talk about what you're doing out there.
Oh, okay. So from the beginning, when I first created Canna Health, I always wanted it to be not just a business for me, but a way to create entrepreneurs in this industry. And it took me a minute to kind of find my niche and a business in this industry, not having millions of dollars just to buy dispensaries or, grow facilities or, and then the licensing process here in the state of Connecticut is so limiting in and of itself.
Right.
So, I wanted to just be able to create opportunities for people to become owners and have experience in this industry and be connected to the industry. So, we started Canna Health and everything was going good, but I always wanted to have like a franchise model for Canna Health. And so what we ended up doing is, because franchises are a little more complicated and difficult, so we ended up doing a licensing model,
Right.
where basically we license individuals or companies to utilize the Canna Health brand, utilize our operating practices,
Resources,
and
right.
utilize me as needed. All the resources that we have compiled over the last couple of years, and open up your own Canna Health. So our first licensee was you,
Yeah.
Joe,
Keep it in
and
the
Brian,
family.
and Rich, and Canna Health Milford, and that has been going well, and I was very excited to get that started.
Yep.
And I started putting out feelers for other people who are interested in different parts of the state and outside of the state. And I am proud to announce that we have 2 additional licensed Canna Health locations that'll be opening in the state of Connecticut in the next probably 30 to 60 days.
Yeah.
The first is Canna Health Danbury.
Okay.
And so Danbury is an area that has been hit pretty hard, very hard, by the opioid crisis, and that doesn't have resources and connections to, a ease of operation, to
Right.
easy transition for patients to become medical marijuana patients here in the state of Connecticut, medical cannabis patients, and obtain their certifications.
Right.
So that's what we decided to do for Danbury, and I'm proud to be to announce that the owner of Canna Health Danbury is a nurse.
Oh, nice.
We've worked together over the years. Her name is Melissa McKeon. So again, she'll be opening Canna Health Danbury, and then it kind of all two in
1 week. Either.
Isn't that something? We actually just on Friday signed a new deal for a new licensee to open in Middletown, Connecticut.
Yes.
And this licensee, Anne-Marie Louise, she is a graduate of our educational program.
Yep.
Through Canna
First
Health.
class.
Joe helped to guide her through that process and get her going, and really ignited a desire to be in this industry. And so I'm very excited that she will now be owner of Canna Health and will be operating out of Middletown.
I'm
which
so
also
happy.
is another area that has needed some, support or direct ways for residents in that area, patients in that area, to become new certified for medical cannabis.
So that's awesome, and
That
is.
congratulations to both offices, but especially, of course, Anne Marie, one of the first students that we had in the classes here in Connecticut.
She's been part of it from the very start.
Yep.
She's awesome.
So that's very excellent, and I'm sure you'll keep us apprised of when the grand openings are, and we'll get the addresses and everything. We'll put them up on the website or on the Facebook page and stuff. And we'll start.
Absolutely.
Well, that's so exciting. So tell us, what are you doing in California, Kibra?
So I'm here for the National Cannabis Industry Association Business Summit. And so the National Cannabis Industry Association is just that.
NCIA, right.
Cannabis Industry Association that has conferences and summits all across the country. I was a speaker at their Seed to Sale event that they had in Boston, and I am here in San Jose, California, representing a company that I am doing some consulting for and doing some business development for. The name of the company is Sativa, but they
Oh,
spell it a little different. They spell it Cativa, and it's a CBD brand that is it is they've done all this fancy schmancy technology to make it so that it's water soluble, and that it dissolves under like it's just a really great brand. And but they're just still in the developmental phases and trying to put their name out. So I'm here to represent for them here at the conference and just provide some information and get people excited about what Nimbus Health Systems is the name of the overall company, and Sativa is one of their brands that they're going to be carrying. But just to put the name out there for Nimbus, they want to be in this industry, and so I'm representing for them. I'm also was newly elected to the National Cannabis Industry Association. I want to get this right: Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee.
oh, nice.
So
Congratulations.
while I'm here, we're having our first committee meeting for diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is right up my alley, of course.
Yep.
And so I'm excited to be representing Connecticut, to be representing Cannabis Consultants here, to be representing Canna Health here, to be representing Nimbus Healthcare here. It's just an exciting time.
You're just repping. That's
I'm
good. And
repping.
how's the weather out there?
It's a beautiful thing.
And the weather is really nice. It's not like too crazy and not too hot. It's I want to say it's maybe 80 degrees. Let me go look at the weather real quick. But I'm sitting by the pool talking to you all right now.
Oh, I'm
And-
jealous.
Yes.
Enjoying a little bit of this here sun.
All right. So,
But it's comfortable. Honestly, this is of course, it's a 3-hour difference. So
Right.
it is 10:48 here. So I've been up since like 4 o'clock in the morning.
oh yeah, getting
My
used to that jet
body
lag,
woke
right?
me up, and I tried to like stay, but I'm literally just walking out of my hotel room for the first time, and I'm gonna head over to
All right.
the conference center right in a few minutes.
Okay. Well, when will we see you again? Next week?
Yes, I will be back on this week. I'll be back on Thursday. So
Okay, great. All right. Well, Kibra, you're always hanging. You're always repping.
Yes, yes.
Always great talking to you. We miss you up here, but you're always doing, you're doing good things out there in the community, and we appreciate that. So we will.
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks for all your support, you and Lou and all of our Connecticut family from
Yeah.
Normal and
Mhm.
and all the organization Cure, all the organizations we represent. It's a blessing to have such great people on the team
Yeah, I
with
agree.
me, and have great teammates to just kind of work our way through this industry. It's tough here in Connecticut, so it's nice to have people who have your back.
That's right, and we
Yes,
all
yes.
do. Thanks again, Kibra. We love you. Have a
You
great
enjoy
time.
there, all right,
Thank you.
dear?
Love you too. Have
All
a good
right.
show.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye bye. All right.
I love when she calls in.
Yeah, especially she's having a great old time
Yeah.
out there. I miss
Anything
Kelly.
positive. I'm all about that.
All right, so here's what's going on in Connecticut.
What do we got
Not a
going
ton.
on?
But this weekend down at Bohemian High in Milford,
Yeah.
there's something going on called the Good Vibes Festival.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, so there's going to be about a dozen vendors out in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be 5 bands, and they're going to start at noon, and they're going to go until 10 o'clock. We're going to be having
10 o'clock.
It's going to be an all-day party. It's right on Bridgeport Avenue, so if you get off
Street
exit
festival.
34, it's
Well,
a street.
Street festival.
Basically,
Awesome.
we're hoping to close down the street. We're going to have CBD products there. We got a ton of cool vendors, clothing, records. We got vinyl records. Go-Go Joe's is going to be opening. We're going to be selling cold brew. We're going to be selling coffee, edibles.
Come on down for that. All that CBD needs. Check out some of that art that's inside.
Oh, the art. That's right. We
You
got an
know,
art wall.
make an
Hopefully by then
appointment.
you'll bring your stuff
I've got a
in.
bunch of stuff in my car too, ready to go up on that wall.
Yeah.
I saw you got a new person up there.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Other than that, we will be doing I think we should start doing on Fridays before you guys. We should do a little coffee hour or something after I get off the farm. We just come right there.
Yeah. We should do that. I'm open Fridays. Oh, yeah. Canna Health Milford is open Friday from 2 to 6. We still have a couple of appointments left, but it's backing up pretty quick. So, yeah. And we're also open at the coffee shop. So, anybody who wants to come down Friday afternoon or Sundays. And this week we'll be specially open on Saturday for the Good Vibes Festival.
And if you want to talk hemp or CBD,
that's right.
We were down there talking, and somebody said, "Hey, can I come down to the farm?" And we gave him instructions on how to get down to the farm.
I saw a picture of him at the farm.
That's right. So you never know what's going on at the Grove.
Yeah. So that's a fun time. That's 158 Bridgeport Avenue in Milford, but you can't miss it. It's an outdoor
it's gonna be
event.
right on the corner.
Outdoor event. So you make sure you come. Great bands, good time, good food,
good vibes,
good vibes, good people. So make sure you come to that this weekend, even if you stay for an hour. That's why it's all day.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll be there hanging. So definitely come down. The other thing is, of course, on the 7th of August is the Medical Marijuana Discussion Group. That's also at the Grove. That's a good place for people to come down who are medical patients, who are looking for more info about the medical program.
Get to talk to a medical professional, get to talk to other people
Brian,
in the community.
And Gary's cutting us off without even giving me a warning. Usually he gives me a finger, no finger nod or nothing. He's get out, guys. All right. The last thing is Connecticut Normal on the 21st in the cellar.
We love it.
I love you, Harry. We'll talk to you
Everybody's
later.
have a happy high. Happy, healthy, and high. That's what those edibles.
I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I'm in Cali every week. I go hard. Rowan said he got sour, need that whole yard. I'm chasing turkey bag. You chasing gold yard. Tell us down, we won't go far. Blue sherbet stuff the whole jar. 100 P's on the Bay Bridge, stuck in traffic. If I ever run into Riri, let's make magic. Die doing something you love, it ain't tragic. Heard what I said, nigga, it ain't tragic. From the home of lay down, smoking ratchets. Never win when you spell it backwards. I got green in the bay, my whole team Packers. Hold the plug, I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. Told the plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. Gucci slides with the G's while I'm selling P's. Walking proof, money growing trees. Hit the plug, he gon' fly the geese. 100 P's, we supply the streets. Gelato cookies and that blue cheese. Yeah, bitch, woman, she got blue knees. Call her Arizona, she got a few sips.
Not your plaything. So long for you to come to me. What did I do wrong? It's all a mystery to me.
Baby, I feel it too. What am I supposed to do? Maybe I've just changed. Or could I be wrong for you now, for you? You got me hanging on a string now. You got me hanging on a string now.
Am I your plaything? Every time you were waiting, contemplating. Every time you were waiting, contemplating. With my heart, do you mean to say that after all this time I waited like a fool? Now who's been changing you?
Hi, this is Steph, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting from New Haven, Connecticut.
Are just like ours. As my predecessor, President My fellow Americans, tonight I'd like to talk with you about immigration. For more than 200 years, our tradition of welcoming immigrants from around the world has given us a tremendous advantage over other nations. It's kept us youthful, dynamic, and entrepreneurial. If you meet the criteria, you can come out of the shadows and get right with the law. Pass a bill because we disagree on this. Americans are tired of gridlock. What our country needs from us right now is a common purpose. Immigration will change the very fabric of who we are, or take our jobs, or stick it to middle-class families at a time when they already feel like they've fabric of who we are, or take our might get a free pass to American citizenship. Put in the painstaking work to become citizens. Millions of us, myself included, go back generations in this country with ancestors who put in the pain country needs from us right now is a common purpose, a higher purpose.
You are now entering another dimension. a dimension not only of sight and sound but of critical thinking. A journey to a wondrous land with boundaries that of clarification. Your next stop, the Sanity Zone.
So, you're a philosopher? Yes. 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 I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
In about 4 seconds, a teacher will begin to speak.
I think very deeply.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
What's up? What's up? You're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, aka The Brave, breaking the mainstream media in half. If you're listening to my show for the first time, I've been off for a couple of weeks. If you're listening to my show, I go through headlines, through videos, and try to take the spin out of the articles that I read or the videos that we mention, that I put on. I usually always start. Oh, and you could also, if you're listening on the radio and you want to see and go through the articles with me, read the articles, all you have to do is go to Facebook and look up New Haven Independent's Facebook page, and you'll be able to see us there. So I put up all the articles. As I go through them, I put them up on the screen. And you can read it with me, or, it'll give you the motivation to go and look it up yourself and do your own homework. Or you could catch us on YouTube, which is all you have to look up is New Haven Independent. On Twitter, we're at WNHHLP. On Periscope, at WNHHLP. So, yeah, you could catch us somewhere, right? All right, let's get started. I like to start my show by telling you the conversations that I had, leading into my show on Mondays, right? I want to go back this weekend because I've had a few conversations that have been actually really interesting, right? Because I get the same reaction from everybody, even people who have, who have kind of gotten to know me for the last few years, right? At least as their producer and stuff like that. So I have these conversations with people, and the same question always comes up: how could you be a Trump supporter? How could you support Trump? Aren't you Hispanic? Sure, I'm Hispanic. I'm Puerto Rican. So how could you vote for Trump? And, when I'm asked this question, it's asked in a demeaning way, right? Like you're an idiot. Why would you vote for Trump? But at the same time, it's done with such passion that while they're calling me an idiot for supporting Trump, at the same time, they're feeling sorry for me, right? Because they pretty much like me, but don't understand how I could go for Trump, right? And the stuff that's driving people right now, right, is the arguments with Ilhan Moore, Ocasio-Cortez, and the other two. I like to call them the hit squad, or Ocasio-Cortez plus 3. But so on Friday I had this conversation, and this person was telling me you see how Trump is trying to get us into war in Iran. And I'm like, what? Iran knocked down one of our drones and we didn't retaliate. Right? It's customary to retaliate. We didn't. Right? And now Iran comes out and says, "Oh, we knocked down one of their drones last week, and because it came too close to our warship, so we took it down." And another provocation from Iran, right, from Tehran, and this person said, "Yeah, but Iran said that you didn't knock down one of their stuff, and when they knocked ours down, that we were in their airspace," and with passion. Right now, remember, that's asking me, how am I voting for Trump? Right? So I can't ask those questions with the same passion, right? Because I don't lose myself in party. I don't lose myself in hate. I don't even lose myself in happiness, unless, it's with my wife. So, but I asked, why are you believing everything Iran is saying? They only pause to tell you that because they're screaming. Normally they're screaming, death to America, the great Satan. Death to Israel, the little Satan. And that person couldn't give me an answer. They were more perplexed than anything, because it's, what is driving you right now to believe the number one sponsor of terror in the world? What is driving you right now to hate? Well, the hate is what's driving that person. And the hate drives almost everybody that I speak to. They can't have a sane conversations a lot of times. These are intelligent people, very educated people, right? But they have these schisms, they have these brain farts. And the reason being, yeah, I said brain fart. The reason being is because they can't get out of their own way, right? They only look for news that confirms their bias, their hate for Trump. So it doesn't matter that the leader of Iran is lying. She prefers to believe that leader who has called for their death. My mistake. They prefer that than to actually honor their country, than to actually believe their country. But they're blinded by this hatred, this very much living, breathing monster that's consuming them. Right? But so that's a conversation from Friday. Let me move towards today, right? Today, I've been speaking about immigration. Now, immigration, I don't know, supposedly as I came in, they were saying that ICE was in the process of picking people up in Bridgeport, right? So immigration's been a big subject today, and people are worried. Oh my God. And I'm like, oh, well, don't worry. If you don't have a deportation order, you shouldn't worry unless you're harboring a illegal that has a deportation order and you're illegal. Because if they go in to get that illegal and there's 10 others, they can't ignore the 10 others. They have to do their job. Right? So if you go to your friend's house and your friend's a drug dealer and the police storm his house and there's drugs all over the place, you get picked up. You get picked up. Right? So it's common sense, right? In everyday Americans' lives. There are consequences for the things you do, right? And part of those consequences, you actually end up hurting people you love, your friends, your family, everybody who's connected to you, especially if you're involving them in your crime. It happens every day to Americans. It's so strange how we don't care about that. But we somehow have outrage when it happens to those who aren't Americans, who have broken the laws. It's strange. Americans get separated from their families every day in court. They get separated from their families. You're convicted of a crime, you say bye to your family. It is so strange. Right? And this is what I mean. Most of the people I speak to are intelligent people, educated people. But they can't make the connection. They can't make it. It's too simple for them to make that connection. It's common sense. And when you are enraged and you're seeing red because of your hate, the last thing that you're thinking, the last thing that you possess is common sense. And a lot of these people are walking around in their lives like this, in hate. You know, I had somebody else earlier come to the studio and ask me, name 3 things Trump has done that you could be proud of. I said, well, the lowest unemployment for women in 66 years. Well, that's going to go away because there's going to be a recession. Okay, okay. You could hope for whatever you want. I guess that's... I don't get people. Name another thing. Well, the lowest unemployment for Hispanics. Is that something to be proud of? Well, that's going to go away too. And I'm like, oh, look, this is a hard conversation, really. A really hard conversation to have, right? You ask me for the things, but you refuse to accept the things because somehow you're psychic. And you know a recession is coming, even though they've been claiming, that a recession. As a matter of fact, the market was supposed to drop like a rock just by Trump being elected. So these economic forecasters, I don't trust them. Well, I trust them as much as I trust the pollsters who told us Hillary Clinton had a 90% shot of winning. So, anyway, so immigration has been an issue. So actually this weekend I spent my time listening to the president and trying to figure out if his words are part of the reason for this. I don't know. Should he follow the law or should he be emotional? I don't know. But let's see what he said. Well, this is what I was listening to this weekend, right? President was talking. Let's follow what he's saying.
Most Americans support the types of reforms I've talked about tonight, but I understand the disagreements held by many of you at home. Millions of us, myself included, go back generations in this country with ancestors who put in the painstaking work to become citizens. So we don't like the notion that anyone might get a free pass to American citizenship. I know some worry immigration will change the very fabric of who we are, or take our jobs, or stick it to middle-class families at a time when they already feel like they've gotten the raw deal for over a decade. I hear those concerns. But that's not what these steps would do. Our history and the facts show that immigrants are a net plus for our economy and our society. And I believe it's important that all of us have this debate without impugning each other's character. Because for all the back and forth of Washington, we have to remember that this debate is about something bigger. It's about who we are as a country and who we want to be for future generations. Are we a nation that tolerates the hypocrisy of a system where workers who pick our fruit and make our beds never have a chance to get right with the law? Or are we a nation that gives them a chance to make amends, take responsibility, and give their kids a better future?
So, okay, that's the wrong president. But I totally agree with this president, right? And what he was saying there, right? And I do. I'm, and today, because I'm not having second thoughts on immigration. I'm not. I think people should follow the laws, and I think Congress should fund the security of the border, right? If we need more walls, like Border Patrol says we need walls in certain areas and, you know, different types of technology in other areas, which Trump has said he would do. But now because Trump is the one recommending it, it's a bad thing. Now, this is a lot of the stuff that Trump is recommending is actually stuff that Obama recommended. You know, and you have to hear what he said. You know, we can't demonize each other over this debate. We do. A lot of conservatives do want to make it right for people, right? We do want to make it right for people. If you've been here a long time, but I can't. This is where I have this struggle, right? This is where I have this struggle. Because Obama did DACA, right? And, okay, it's done, right? Never mind if it was a legal thing, even though he said he couldn't do it for 2 years. But it's done, DACA, right? And he wanted to give 700,000 DACA recipients a pathway to citizenship, which is part of what he's talking about right here, right? Now, my thing is, right? Now, he set a limitation on DACA, right? You can't just, right now, we've been taking 100,000 plus a month the last few months of people at the border. And that's people who get caught. One out of every 4, I think, or 1 out of every 3 get caught. So imagine there's other people coming in. So if we catch over 1 million this year, really that's 3 to 4 million that have come in because 1 out of every 3 or 4 get caught. Right? So just think about that. Now, I think you have to absolutely send anybody back after Obama did DACA. You know, after they changed that rule or he signed an executive order to do DACA. Right? Because he put a limit on that. Now it's going to be, we want to give everybody. All the kids that came in, all the family members. You can't. And this is the problem. When you make these types of fixes, without actually fixing the problem. Right? If you can't stem the flow at the border, if you can't stop it, then you'll be making people legal for the foreseeable future. You just got to keep making everybody legal under his DACA rule. Right? So you have to set a limitation. Now, Trump offered to give 2.8 million, and then it actually would have increased because they would have allowed some family members in. Now, Obama asked for 700,000. Trump offered to give 2.8, and the Democrats said no. Right? Because in offering more than what they were looking for, Trump did that olive branch thing, but the Democrats said, well, but you can't ask for anything in return. So you can't ask for money for a wall. Oh, you can't ask for merit-based immigration, which was part of Obama's plan too. He said, we're looking to bring skilled people. Obama said that. Trump says it is racist. Obama says it sounds like a good idea. Right? So here's my problem here. We don't have a legitimate way of getting to a comprehensive immigration, reform or whatever you want to call it. Because the Democrats refuse to work with Trump because they see it. The reason they rejected 2.8 million is because they don't want to give Trump a win on this. You have to remember everything that Obama has been trying to do for years. Prison reform and all of that stuff. Trump actually did it. So he's actually been able to accomplish things that Obama wanted to do. You look at Trump and you have to look at his actions, not his bombastic words. Look at the urban renewal songs. People, minorities starting their own businesses and everything. He's done stuff Obama just didn't. My thing is, let's listen to Obama. Let's stop demonizing each other over it. Let's stop demonizing each other because we want to make America great again. I know you people you hate that term. But America is America. You're included in America. If you don't include yourself in that make America great again, you're the problem. You're the problem. And then, anyway, let me listen to a little bit more of Obama, then I'll get to where I was going.
Are we a nation that accepts the cruelty of ripping children from their parents' arms? Or are we a nation that values families and works together to keep them together?
Now you have to, this is 2014. Okay. And that statement right there, he was admitting that that's what was happening. For everybody who says we didn't rip families from each other's, from the immigrants' arms, you had to. You had to, because that's part of the law. You have to actually verify that is the parent. I don't blame Obama for that. It's just part of our policies. We can't allow children to be trafficked like that. A lot of people are coming in with kids that aren't their own. So you have to protect the child in this, right? Yeah, it might be a traumatic experience for the child, but I think the child has had a traumatic experience having to walk through the desert and then almost drown in the Rio Grande. I think the parent chose to put that child through trauma anyway.
Are we a nation that educates the world's best and brightest in our universities only to send them home to create businesses in countries that compete against us? Or are we a nation that encourages them to stay and create jobs here, create businesses here, create industries right here in America? That's what this debate is all about. We need more than politics as usual when it comes to immigration. We need reasoned, thoughtful, compassionate debate that focuses on our hopes, not our fears. I know the politics of this issue are tough, but let me tell you why I have come to feel so strongly about it. Over the past years, I've seen the determination of immigrant fathers who worked 2 or 3 jobs without taking a dime from the government and at risk any moment of losing it all just to build a better life for their kids. I've seen the heartbreak and anxiety of children whose...
Right. And this, this is real, and I get it. This is what I was telling somebody before I did my show, and they were laughing because I'm reconsidering my position on immigration, and I'm not. I want everybody to follow the law. I want them to apply for asylum in their countries. I want all of that. But I want to be realistic, right? I want to be realistic. And for people who have been here a long time, right? But I want to be realistic for that because America has failed to do its job. We shouldn't be allowing this much people to come in illegally. Right? So if you're here 10 years and you've been working hard for your family and nobody has deported you up till suddenly now they want to deport you, I would say to let that person stay. Because America failed to do its job. Right? America failed to do its job and you allow that person to create a life here. Right? So, but I say that with it's hard. I'm trying to think of the proper wording, but I don't think you should make that available to anybody who's come in the last 5 years. Right? Because we have to set limitations. And then we have to be real about this border. It has to be protected. You have to stop the people from just easily coming in and taking advantage of America's, wealth, if you could call it that, because we're losing all our wealth. Remember, we're close to 22 trillion in debt. So we're harming ourselves. And then you have different states who are passing free healthcare, free college for the illegal immigrants, but not for their citizens. So it's just so difficult because these are human beings. But at the same time, we are a country. We have our sovereignty. We have to actually protect our borders. And we have to protect the Americans within these borders. So let's not be naive, because many Americans have died at the hands of illegal aliens. They just have. All right, I got to stop it there because then this is going to take up my whole show. But I just wanted to make that point, and I want to give you a couple of other videos with Obama also. That's why I want to stop it there. Let me give you this one. This one was 2013 with Telemundo, right? The guy from Telemundo. I forgot his name. What's his name? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So let's listen to this. Oh, the guy from Telemundo is telling him, because this is the thing. We have to also recognize the facts of Obama. Obama deported more people than all the presidents before him. Trump isn't going to get close to Obama's deportation numbers. Okay? And nobody called Obama a racist. Obama was sending them out, deporting lots of people, breaking up families. Right? So let's listen.
You were president, there are only certain things you could do unilaterally. As time goes on, 1,000 deportations on average a day. People are wondering, and our Twitter feeds and Facebook feeds, that's the question everybody
1,000 deportations a day. Barack Obama
asks. Won't you at least consider unilaterally freezing deportations for the parents of deferred action kids?
Yeah. Here's the problem that I have, Jose, and I've said this consistently.
Now, you heard what he asked him. Would you consider freezing deportation for DACA kids? Yes, Obama was separating families. I'm sorry to break it to you. I'm sorry to break it to you, but he was. But let's listen to the rest of his answer.
My job in the executive branch is supposed to be to carry out the laws that are passed. Congress has said, here's the law when it comes to those who are undocumented, and they allocate a whole bunch of money for enforcement. And what I have been able to do is to make a legal argument that I think is absolutely right, which is that given the resources we have, we can't do everything that Congress has asked us to do. What we can do is then carve out the DREAM Act folks, saying young people who have basically grown up here are Americans that we should welcome. We're not going to have them operate under a cloud, under a shadow. But if we start broadening that, then essentially I would be ignoring the law in a way that I think would be very difficult to defend legally. So that's not an option, and I do get a little worried that advocates of immigration reform start losing heart and immediately thinking, well, somehow there's an out here. If Congress doesn't act, we'll just have the president sign something and that'll take care of it, and we won't have to worry about it. What I've said is that there's a path to get this done, and that's through Congress. And right now, everybody should be focused on making sure that that bill that's already passed out of the Senate.
So, he was talking about the bill at the end about, in 2013, the Senate had passed a bipartisan bill that the House of Representatives never took up. So, anyway, but did you hear him? The guy asked him, can you stop deporting the parents of DACA kids? And Obama said, no. I have to do my job. It's the law. I can't get around it. It's the law. Congress passed these laws. And Barack Obama says, so I'm putting it back into the hands of Congress to fix this, which he had already bypassed the Congress by doing DACA. But he refused to go further than that. Now you have to understand, Barack was willing to separate families. He was deporting DACA parents. So people understand. Is Barack Obama evil? Is he evil? Because Trump is doing a whole lot less than Obama. A whole lot less than Obama. He's a loudmouth. He's bombastic, but his actions are less severe than Obama. It's the same thing as when you saw that the Border Patrol had sprayed pepper spray on people so that they dispersed. They were trying to attack one of the gates or come through one of the gates, and they threw pepper spray. And that had been the 20th time in the Trump administration, in the 2 years of Trump's administration, 2.5 years, that they used pepper spray. Obama's administration used pepper spray thousands, almost every day. Now, I shouldn't say thousands, but they used it almost every day. Trump would never get to the number of Obama. Okay? This is the thing. Is Obama evil? Because you're judging Trump so much more severely than you did Obama. Just because he's white. I don't know if that's racism, prejudice. What is it? What is it in you that sees or that hates, people so bad? Because President Barack Obama, did what Trump is doing, but he did it 10 times worse. And when this reporter, when Barack Obama was running for president in 2008, Barack promised that his first order of duty, the first thing he was going to do as president was comprehensive immigration reform. And he didn't keep that promise to the Latino community. He went on all the Spanish radio stations, on all the TV stations, and said he would take care of them first, and he didn't do it. He did not fulfill that promise. So is Barack Obama evil? Trump has offered much more, $2.8 million for DACA. All he wants is merit-based immigration, something Obama has asked for, or had asked for when he was president. Skilled people coming through the border so that they can come in and work. This is the thing. It is not that hard. It is not that hard. Common sense is right there. It's on the edge of your insanity. It's on the edge of that hate. Do some of your own homework. This is from the lips of Barack Obama, President Barack Obama. Remember that cool guy? That cool guy who was going to bring the water levels down? Who's going to... We are the one we've been waiting for. Remember that? This is the thing. Come on, man. Come on, people. In the words of Joe Biden, come on, man. This is the thing. I'm going to take a quick break. You're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM. Your home for community radio.
20s, 50s, 100s, 100.
Yeah. So chop it up, wet work. Money still coming through the network. Prime time, gotta watch me. Put money on your head like DiBiase.
I do my thing, man.
DiBiase.
I do my thing, man.
DiBiase.
I do my thing, man.
DiBiase. Put money on your head like DiBiase.
I do my thing, man.
DiBiase.
I do my thing, man.
DiBiase.
I do my thing, man.
DiBiase. Put money on your head like DiBiase.
call, everything's a go. She begging me to stay, but I need to go. On the other side, brothers got it cracking. Little dice game, but a lot of trapping. Made a quick stop at the corner store. My homie got a Dutch, but I needed more. Smell it in the air when I'm whipping. I'm like Bobby Flay in the kitchen. Still don't nothing move but the money. Get the work, wrap it up like a mummy. Ship it out of town like I'm
All right. You're listening to Breaking News with Harry, aka The Brave. Want to shout out Ugly Radio for giving me the music to play. All right, let's get into it. You know, I want to play a lot of music because my hour is already flying. Want to give you a couple of more videos. Let's give you another video, and this is this is actually from Al Jazeera network, the Al Jazeera network, right? And they do a study. You know, they actually break down something here, the numbers for you on immigration and Obama. All right, let's play this. This is Reality Check.
One of the many criticisms of Donald Trump centers on his pledge to deport, to forcibly relocate all 11 million undocumented immigrants in the US in his first 2 years in office. But remember, this is how he defended that odious policy in the second presidential debate.
Nobody knows about it, nobody talks about it, but under Obama, millions of people have been moved out of this country. They've been deported.
Now, annoyingly, he's got a point, kind of. The truth is that the Obama administration has deported 2.5 million undocumented immigrants from the United States over 2 terms. 2.5 million. That's the highest number for any president ever. In fact, Obama is on course to have deported more people in his 8 years in office than all of the presidents of the 20th century combined. I guess that explains why his immigration enforcement budget in 2015 was a whopping $18 billion. That's $3 billion more than the budgets of all the other major domestic law enforcement agencies combined. Now, the Obama administration says the vast majority of the people it deports are people with criminal records, felons, threats to national security, which sounds reasonable, except that a study in 2014 found that 2/3 of deportation cases involved people who had committed minor infractions, including traffic violations, or had no criminal record at all. Take the case of Jose Marvin Martinez, who fled Honduras age 16 after his brother was murdered by suspected gang members. In 2014, he was deported back to his home country, and just 4 months later, he was shot to death by suspected gang members. Or how about Giovanni Miranda, who arrived in the United States as a child and was working legally when he had a minor traffic accident in 2009. When immigration officers discovered he'd been charged with a minor drug possession offense 7 years earlier, they sent him back to El Salvador, a homeland he'd never known. 3 years after his return, he was murdered by a gang in front of his wife and newborn child. These are just 2 out of tens of thousands of real-life stories, real-world tragedies that many say will forever taint Obama's record on human rights and especially on immigration. So complain as much as you like about Trump's grotesque deportation plans, but the fact is that he's inheriting the most sophisticated and well-funded human expulsion machine in the history of the country from his Democratic predecessor. And shed as many tears as you like for outgoing President Barack Obama, but never forget that until Donald Trump came along, he was the deporter-in-chief.
And there you go, right? So Barack deported probably about 3 million people, right? 2.5 to 3 million people, and 2/3 of those people weren't hardened criminals. And it's just important for people to see this, to hear it, because you're accusing Trump of doing stuff that Barack Obama actually did. Trump hasn't deported all these people. Trump is just trying to actually close the border. And he is trying to get rid of the criminals too, like sort of like what Obama said. But Obama actually was the deporter in chief. of course, that's the dirty little secret, right? That the Democrats don't like to talk about. It's also the dirty little secret that the media never covered. Right now, you have the media just going crazy over anything that's done in immigration. For instance, all of the cages that the media calls cages were actually built in 2014 because there was a crisis at the border. Those cages that everybody reports on as if Trump put them there were put there by Barack Obama. And they were considered safe places to put these immigrants. And the media said nothing about it. At least the mainstream media didn't say anything about it. I know the Arizona paper had reported on it, but the mainstream media never picked it up. Because it would have gone directly against their narrative of Obama being a messiah for everyone. But it's important that you actually get to know what really is happening or what really happened under Obama. All right, let's move on. It's really important. Now I want to get to another story. I got maybe 5 minutes left. But this weekend, Mariano Rivera, the best closer in the history of Major League Baseball, right? So for those who don't understand baseball, when I say the best closer, he would be the pitcher that would come in at the end of the game to finish the game, right? And this guy was the best. Untouchable. He was the best. There's nobody even close. So he got in on a unanimous vote. First time. Unanimous vote. Right? And Mariano Rivera, and let me switch it over. There you go, so you can see him. Mariano Rivera gave a speech at the Hall of Fame, which he's being criticized for. Now, this guy, the best in the game, the best ever, still has a very good, humble heart. Right? Let's listen to this guy.
Last one was special. I wanted to start this thanking my good Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. For giving me the talent and the blessing and open doors that I could never close and no man can close. So he has given us a beautiful day today. And it's amazing. So thank you, Lord, for everything that you have done in my life. To my wife, Clara, thank you. Thank you. You have been the pillar of our wonderful family. You have been the backbone in our family. I couldn't do it without you. You know, you were there alone to raise our boys and support, and always been there in the good times and the tough times.
So I don't have the time, but he goes on. You know, he's thanking God, he's thanking his friends, he's thanking his family, and let me read you what the Daily Beast wrote. The Yankee legend will be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame on Sunday. Has managed to keep his political leanings hidden for decades. Mariano Rivera, the greatest relief pitcher in baseball history, will formally be enshrined in the Major League Hall of Fame. Someday, a throng of New York Yankee diehards will surely make the trek to Cooperstown, New York, to take in the proceedings and relive treasured memories. For countless fans, Rivera is baseball royalty, an idol, worshipped, yada yada. To this day, he is held as an ideal athlete, yada yada, and it goes on. But then it gets to, and over the past 3 years, he's also served at the pleasure of a racist president taking part in thinly veiled propaganda on behalf of a far-right government in Israel, and gotten chummy with outright bigots and apocalyptic loons. None of this will ever be inscribed on his Hall of Fame plaque. This is... Now, it's because he serves on Trump has a opioid committee or something that Rivera takes part in, because he's a good born-again Christian who believes in his fellow man and taking care of his fellow man, right? And taking part in thinly veiled propaganda for the far-right government of Israel. Like I said, he's a good Christian man who favors Israel. There's nothing wrong with that, right? And he has served at the pleasure of a racist president. Mariano wouldn't serve at the pleasure of a racist president. And that's the point. You guys don't know anything. And you're fake news, fake media. But let's look at how, compared to, what's her name? Rapinoe. What's her name? The soccer player. Rapinoe. Let's look at her video, how humble she is.
What do you have to say? What do you deserve? You deserve all of it. Everything. You deserve this.
Yeah. Right? So, you have, I think her name is Megan Rapinoe, right? So obnoxious. So, right? And what do they write on her? Champagne sunglasses and Mayor Megan, the New York City parade for Team USA, right? And they talk about her so great. She's so great. Unbelievable. This guy who actually is a great person, they trash. Anyway, I don't got time for anything now. All right, you've been listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, aka The Brave. I'll go through these headlines that I had lined up. Federal judge upholds Trump's expansion on non-Obamacare. Let's see, what's this? Mueller investigation witness George Nader indicted on sex trafficking charges. Another one of Mueller's star witnesses. Disgusting person. Anyway, I gotta get out of here. You've been listening to Breaking News on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
So you're a philosopher?
Yes. 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 Yes.
I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
In about 4 seconds, a teacher will begin to speak.
I think very deeply.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!